Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Friday, the 23rd of October. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host this morning. Going through in today's news, we'll be talking about Mitre 10 Cup. We've got some news from the America's Cup. There's a lot of golfing updates for you, as well as news from the cycling and the netball as well. Looking at the cycling then, and at the Valletta España, Dan Martin won a uphill sprint from a select group of the favourites. It was another GC day on stage 3 with an up a mountain top finish. Dan Martin won the climb ahead of the race leader Primož Roglič and Richard Carapaz. I mean, those Roglič and Carapaz seen as the two favourites for that race. Roglič still has the overall lead, but Dan Martin has cut back that to just 5 seconds now, with Richard Carapaz 13 seconds back. The only person to lose some time was Esteban Chavez from Mitchelton Scott, who had an unfortunate mechanical at the wrong time. Over in the Giro d'Italia, and it's just finished with Jai Hindley, who was in third place, winning the stage ahead of Theo Gegenhardt. There, I need to look at the overall results to see what that means, as it looks like they were ahead. Looks like the third and fourth place riders were ahead of the rest of the riders. So have they managed to overhaul the Wilco Kelderman and Almeida to take the overall lead? Doesn't look like it. Kelderman looks like he leads by 12 seconds ahead of Hindley, and Gegenhardt climbed from the third, 15 seconds back. So Almeida's reign in that leader's jersey has come to an end. Moving on then to the netball, and in the second day of the Cadbury Netball Series, first off, we saw New Zealand A take on New Zealand under 21s in a good contest. New Zealand A came out on top in the end, 57 to 53 in that one. The bunch of changes, though, for the Silver Ferns. They took 3 players from NZA that they played the previous day, starting up there, making sure that everyone gets a chance to stake a claim for the series against England that is coming up. But they really just could not compete against the New Zealand men, who, yes, used their superior aerial ability to win this one, 60 to 47 in that one. Junior Levy scoring 40 from 44 shots, leading the way there in that one. Many changes for the Silver Ferns throughout the match, and it's being clearly used as a warm-up, as I say, for that series against England that is coming up. Moving on then to the golf and a series of tournaments on. We have in the Lpga. Lydia Ko has had a poor start to her tournament. She trying to find out where she was now. She was down in the 30s, but they're still out on the course. Sorry, she's tied 14th in the end. She finished at 1 under par. As I say, it's the most. There are still players out on the course in that one, so it is changing as we speak. But Lydia Ko looks like she is currently tied 14th during the opening round. Danny Lee is yet to tee off in the Zozo Championship over in the PGA, and we'll keep you up to date with how he goes this weekend. Currently Tony Finau of America leads that one. So it's the early stages now with people out in the course, only out up to the fourth hole in that one. No European tour events this weekend. The next one there is on the 28th of November, which is the Alfred Dunhill Championship taking place in South Africa. Moving on to the cricket then. And in the cricket, we've had the opening round of the Plunket Shield. Canterbury beat Wellington Firebirds by 8 wickets after being able to bowl them out for 65 in their opening innings. The Northern Districts versus Central Stags ended up being a 1 innings affair, with Central Stags winning that one by 7 wickets. Northern Districts were 253 for 8 declared, and Central Stags knocked that off for 254 just for 3 wickets. The final game saw Otago Volts take on Auckland Aces. Otago had a tough time of it, posting 186 in their first innings. Auckland replied with 369 declared, and bowled Otago Volts out for 54 in their second innings, winning by an innings and 129 runs. So a good start there for Auckland Aces, Central Stags, and also Canterbury in the Plunket Shield. Over in the rugby, and unfortunately, Josh Awani and Vilai Korai have both been stood down by Otago this weekend. Apparently, they breached team protocols after the game last weekend, and the understanding from stuff is that there was alcohol involved, and they both turned up to training in an unacceptable state the following day, which is why they have been forced to be left out. That's a major problem for Otago, as it's their first and second choice first 5/8, which means they're having to put a halfback in at number 10. So John O'Hickey, normally in the 9 jersey, will be playing in the 10 jersey. So we'll see how they go against Northland this weekend. Moving on then to the America's Cup, and there have been all sorts of spats going on between the teams and the challengers there. I'll be honest, I've not read up on it in its entirety, but it's been around which courses can be used, and it's looks like course B and courses C, the 2 closest ashore and easiest to the Cup spectators to watch, have been ruled out. I will need to, we'll bring you up to date with that properly tomorrow as to what is going on at the America's Cup. In the rugby this weekend, we also have international rugby returning in Europe. The Six Nations kicks back off with Ireland taking on Italy. Scotland will face Georgia, and France v Wales are warm-up games for their Six Nations matches, which resume next weekend. England were also supposed to have a match against the Barbarians, but there is some doubt about that now, as Barbarians players apparently have broken COVID protocols. So we will have to see if that fixture goes ahead, and we'll bring you all the results here on the morning sports briefing. Thank you for an update there from Aaron, who tells us that the results between Northern Districts and Canterbury was a bit and Central Districts was a bit contrived. Yeah, when it's reduced down to 1 innings, there tends to be sporting declarations, and let's be honest in that one. He says it's cloudy up in Auckland. Yes, it's a bit misty here in Hamilton, but I expect that will probably burn off at some point today, and hopefully we'll have some nice weather. moving on then to, I think, actually, into questions. And questions for New Zealand have named a new high-performance general manager. The London Olympian Jock Paget is the new high-performance general manager there for Equestrian Sports. So good luck to him, obviously, with the Olympics coming up in, the 2020 Olympics coming up next year. Also the World Equestrian Games, and then the 2024 Olympics will be on his radar as events that they will be targeting. And you are now up to speed with all the important sports news. But looking back on this date, and thank you to NZ Sportswire for this information, Stephen Donald kicked the winning penalty as the All Blacks won 8-7 at the Rugby World Cup at Eden Park in 2011. Yes, that was on this day. Also, New Zealand discus thrower Beatrice Fomina, a world champion, two-time Commonwealth Games champion and three times Olympian champion, was born in Auckland on this date in 1974. So happy birthday to Beatrice. Hope she has a wonderful day. Now, you've started the day up to date with all the important sports news. Have a fantastic day, folks. And don't forget to join us again at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for the morning sports briefing.